welcome. We're honored to have for service rendered here. Miss Sherry Myers-Ray reached out to our police department probably 7 months ago or so. I know we've been corresponding via email and a couple of phone calls. She had this wonderful idea where she saw two of our canines had retired, Black and Dingo, and she said we would like to paint portraits for them in their honor for their service. And how nice is that? Just the. We know we have a lot of support from our local community, but here, I mean, they traveled here from where, Lakeland today? To be here for us, for support for our agency, for our canines that serve this community. And recently, Oliver, Canine Oliver, passed away, and Sherry had reached out again and said, "Hey, we'd like to paint his portrait too in his honor." So how nice is that? So. I would like to introduce Miss Sherry Myers-Ray, and she could tell us a little bit about the organization, what they're trying to do, and we're happy to have her. We're honored to have her. Thank you very much.
It seems like it's been longer than 7 months. For Service Rendered was founded in kind of a strange way. I'm a dog person. Was a professional trainer for 48 years. Don't want to make it sound like I was raised by wolves, but my grandparents owned a resort. And while everybody worked, the night security dogs watched me. And there's a family joke about I was about 4 years old and went in the lake and was not supposed to. And this poor shepherd tore every piece of clothing off my body before he finally grabbed my pigtails and dragged me out of the lake. So I belong to a sorority, Sigma Phi Gamma International Sorority. It's a philanthropic sorority, and we have a convention every year. The particular year that I went to the convention was in Las Vegas. I don't ever have to go back to Las Vegas. Don't like it, don't want to go there anymore. But the very last day that they gave, I don't want to say we interviewed, but we listened to speeches by all the organizations that we're giving money to. And the very last day we were there was an organization called Freedom Warriors. And they're out of San Diego. And what they do is they started out very simply providing zippers that the soldiers that were injured and could no longer put their boots on. Or shavers for those that had prosthetic arms and couldn't shave themselves. They started out doing that, and they ended up providing services of new homes, not new homes, but a transition area for them to go to when they were trying to get back into normal life. And the woman, Sandy, who gave the presentation, when she was done, she presented a young man from Elgin, Illinois, and he had been a Marine. Handsome young man, I'll add. And he gave his speech as to what happened to him and why he got there. And I have to tell you that he had been helping to transport one of his fellow Marines onto a medic transport to get him to go. And the medic started pulling at him, and he had no idea why. Well, he'd lost half his face. So they got him, and he was repaired, so much so that he's a handsome young man. And he gave his speech, and at the end of his speech, they ran a video of his life now, what he did and how he worked. And at the end of the video, there was a German Shepherd that ran up around him and circled him as he sat on the steps. And it occurred to me that that was his service dog. I do a lot of things without thinking about what I'm doing. And I got out of my chair and I walked over to him and I started talking to him, very gracious young man, and I handed him my business card and said, "I'd like to paint your dog." And he'd been so nice, I was on the wrong side. He couldn't hear a word I said. So he grabs my shoulders and he says, "Just a minute, let me get on the right side." So he moves over to the right side, and he had tears in his eyes. He was going to lose that service dog. Very soon. It was being replaced by another dog, but he was going to lose that dog, and he said he'd been looking for somebody to paint a portrait. So we made arrangements, everything's done. We get back to the hotel room, and two of the ladies that were in that hotel room with me are here tonight, or today, because I sat in the bathroom all night long, had this idea in my head, and my best friend's in Wisconsin, and I'm texting her what I'm gonna do. I had the name, had everything for service rendered. It was gonna be for services rendered, but somebody already had that, so we went with service. And the whole idea is based around the fact that we have absolutely, as civilians, now you people are something different, but we have absolutely no idea how the bond is between an officer and his dog. We love our dogs. We're devastated when we lose them. But they're not my day-to-day partner. They're not who I depend on sometimes for survival. They're just my dog that loves me. I have a nephew who is a Navy SEAL, and he works with Malinois. And we were talking about it one day, and he said, Aunt Sherry, your buddies are there. You're all trained to fight. You all know what you're going to do. He says, and when you're waiting to do something, you kind of look at one another, and you know you can depend on them, but you still got questions in your mind. And I look at my dog, and there's not a question in the world. He said, that dog is totally devoted to me. He's gonna, if I go down, he's gonna go down first. And I know that. So we get back from the convention, and I'm very fortunate to have some friends that are some of the best orators in the state of Florida, in the United States, let's put it that way. And the other thing that was fortunate about it is I would start telling them what I wanted to do, and their answer was, don't say anything more, I'm in. So they are. Now, it's taken us a long time to get here. And one of the reasons it's taken us a long time, and I hate to say this, is because we don't have any money. We were going to have a gala event. We got nothing. But Polk County came through and gave us some funds to at least pay our artists, because we do pay our artists a stipend for their work. Some of them are taken off of their daily work to do this. But I think I'm just about done. I really, really can't begin to tell you how much gratification we've got to this. And I just want to show you this, and I'm not gonna, we asked each one of the, asked Brian to provide pictures of the dogs. Now, I'm gonna tell you that this is just this is John Giuseppe, he's one of our artists. I can't tell you how many times he'd say, can't you get me a clearer picture? Can't you get me a better picture? And I kept saying, nope, not gonna ask for them. But these are the pictures that were used to do Oliver's portrait. We have this one with the... Yeah, this is him with his eyes closed. Here he is, whoops, one-eyed. I don't know what he was doing, but he's a Mets fan. Had I been doing the portrait, this is the one I would have done. And, we had this one too, but it's all fuzzy. Hitting things now. These artists took quite a challenge to get these pictures together. And if we could, I'd like Oliver's handler to come up. Oliver, thank you. The other ones I got. In fact, I picked them out when they came in. This portrait was done by Jude Poplowski. She did two of our portraits. She lives in Racine, Wisconsin. She summers down here. But this is what we came up with after all that, after all those pictures. Does it look like it? I'll keep my coffee and take my picture. You gotta lift it up over there. Of course, we're gonna wreck things. Yeah, thank you. I was kind of hoping that our buddies, because we feel table up there, he's featured in this month's International Art Collector magazine.
Robbie. Pretend there's a camera, Robbie.
So I kind of changed up the background for you.
Just get it off there for you. Shoot, that's right on. Yeah. The last portrait that we have to present is of black. Jude did this one also. She did this one. This is an oil. She sent it to me, and then we found out about Oliver. So she said, I said I'd paint Oliver, and she said, you don't have time, and she's absolutely right. I still work for a living. But, so she painted Oliver for us also. Oliver's an acrylic, by the way. Black is a oil, and Mitch, is that it? You wanna come up and get it? Funny jokes are made about your name. He's beautiful, by the way. Now, eventually, we will have copies sent to the police station, so you guys can have a copy of each one also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On your frame, I custom painted too, kind of, because it was a different color, so I added that blue line.
That's awesome, looks great.
Does it look as good? Oh, yeah.
Do you guys want to get pictures with your portraits and your family? Sure. Mitch, Michelle?
Yeah, me too. I got this one. We've got information up on the table, actually, Mitch whispered on this. Brian was nice enough to get some up before we got here. I need to hold something. Can I hold one? Please share for a minute. Come on. He keeps backing us, right? Thank you. Now it's hooked on his dash.
Come on, Will. Just so there's no guesswork, Robbie.
I didn't need that, I knew that.
Please don't retire any more dogs for a while. That's the back of your truck, by the way, it's the background. The floor of the truck. Thank you. You guys keep saying thank you, and I've got to tell you, the fact that you people do what you do is thanks to them. I don't live in Newport Richie, but that right, Newport Richie, you got me saying it now. We were halfway here, and Ron goes, aren't you going the wrong direction?
He had a port, but it's wrong.
Yeah, we had Port, it was wrong on Port St. Lucie. Well, Jack, get closer, I'll have a look at it. I want you to check out that magazine up front, because he really is well known.
I'll put it in this.
Again, we're a 501(c). If you'd like to make a donation at some point in time, we are on GoFundMe. We've also got a box up front. I don't know what else to say, but thank
Well,
you very much.
how about thank you very much for coming. We appreciate having you. Listen, truly, we're honored. We're honored to have you here today, and we do have some coffee cake in the background for everybody. So
Thank you.
please enjoy
I'm
yourselves.
sorry we were late.
No, you're right on time. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank
not
you, everybody,
set
for
up.
coming.